Hello everyone, this is my voice because I don't know what to edit with, and it would be so much easier if you guys would just listen to me. That sounded really mean. If you could listen instead of having to read everything. One thing I would like to say is I'm going to have so many things in the description, links to people's channels, links to tutorials that helped me out, links to other stuff and things that I just couldn't fit into this video because the video would be 5 hours long. I'm sorry if I sound tired because this is probably the 13th voiceover because the app keeps crashing. That's so wonderful. I think it's because I'm on my tablet, but who knows. I just wanted to say, try to follow along, and if you can, if you do draw this, hopefully you do, you would post a step-by-step, no, not a step-by-step, what am I saying? Draw this in your own style, and then post it to me, send it to me, something. There will be more stuff in the description, I promise. Just so I can see what you got from this. If I do see that anyone traced my art, you better be ready to get a fat smack to the face, because I do not want any art stealers here. It's okay to trace stuff when you're learning, but there's a point in time where you shouldn't trace something if you're going to claim it as your own. You shouldn't steal someone else's art, and you most certainly should learn to draw on your own, because if you're going to trace, it's not going to get you anywhere because you're going to be used to just drawing over someone else's lines, not, like drawing something and referencing something. I referenced the eyes and other people's shading styles in this video, and that's it. Don't worry about it. Why did I just say that? I don't know what I'm saying, and I do not want to make another voiceover. I did want to say, keep in mind, I'm really still developing my own style, and it's so hard for me to describe everything. For the past few weeks, I believe, I don't know how many weeks it's been, I've been making drawing over drawing, tutorial over tutorial, probably spent over 160 hours making different drawings and tutorials, and none of them worked for me. And now we have a 5-hour one that was probably going to be the best one. So let's just get into this. So here we are beginning the actual part of the tutorial. Wow, finally. That was a really long intro, but I hope you can deal with it, just so you could kind of see my drawing process as I started with this. So at the beginning of the drawing of the process, so basically the sketch, I like to start out with a circle and then draw something that's kind of like a V or a triangle or like a house, kind of, but not like a whole triangle, because then you'll just have an ice cream cone instead of a head, and you do not want an ice cream cone instead of a head. So with that being said, don't draw ice cream cones instead of the head, because it does not look realistic in any way, shape, or form. For the neck, I like to do something that's like a rectangle, but like curved. Like you can see in the picture video, it's just kind of like a sloped rectangle, house, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like a tree stump almost. For the shoulders, I like to slope down and then go back up. I don't really know what to call it, but you kind of go down slightly and then you go straight and then you go like fourth of a circle. So not like a half a circle, but like a semicircle almost, in a way. And I just do that. It takes a long time to like learn your own stuff, I guess. And I used to draw shoulders kind of like straight. I will in my next video be showing a lot of old art and maybe redrawing it in the video after that. But for now, you're just gonna see this. For arms and legs, I prefer to just draw like circles, I guess you could say, for like the shoulders and the forearm and the whatever that other thing is. I like to draw circles and ovals. and that just kind of like lets me know where everything is. For the elbow on the right arm, which you can see right now, hopefully, if you can't see, I'm sorry. I'll describe it the best of my ability. So you have a almost triangle with like a line at the bottom, and then it curves back up into the arm. So there's that. And then for the hands, I don't know who I learned this technique from. I can't remember because I have a lot of art books. I think I said that before. Who knows? It probably was in like one of my other 13 voiceovers. No, this could be titled 13 voiceovers instead of tutorial, because why not? Anyway, I draw a half circle for like the bottom part of the palm, and then for the thumb I draw a triangle and almost like the tip of a knife for the second part, and then for where the fingers are going to be, I draw the other part of the circle, so a half circle, and then I just kind of like do a hand sketch, and then I go over and over again. I know that the hand in this drawing looks messy, but I promised I would post this week, and I am not backing down on my promise. I promise. That's a lot of promise. Who would have known? I'm sick. I'm sorry. Okay, but so for the torso, a lot of people tend to do a rectangle or like a trapezoid. If you go back into the sketch part and the beginning of the video, you'll see I did kind of like a rounded triangle. And I learned that trick from Lunar Eclipse, as well as my hair shading, part of the hair shading. I was watching one of her videos and she did that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a good way to get like a good distance between the legs and the torso? I don't know. But, it's a good trick. And there's that. Okay. So for hair, for bangs, when I first started, I used to draw a lot of like flat bangs or no bangs at all, which is kind of weird because now I cannot really draw anything without bangs. But for the flat bangs, I just did like little rectangles, and then I would kind of like round them out and like make them smaller and whatnot. And for the type of bangs that I'm doing in this video, I decided to do like, well, when I was more of a beginner, I would do like triangles or like little ovals to let me know where everything would be. If you looked back, you would also see that I drew a line through the head where like when I started to draw the bangs. So that basically lets me know this is where you want like the top of the bangs to be, this is where you want like the middle of the bangs or the bottom of the bangs. I made a really big head, and I know that the ear is kind of too high up. I didn't want to go back and redo the line art, so I'm so sorry about that. Moving on to the hair. With hair, I normally just go through and do like little scribbles, and it's not really scribbles though. So with an anime style, you do not want to draw every single little hair, which means in IBS Paint, do not use those oil brushes or those streak brushes. Go through and take the time and draw the hair kind of like I did, and then just shade it, because it looks so much better with an anime style than drawing each and every little hair and shading like a lot of stuff. And you can see when you can really see when someone does that. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone by saying that, but it's true. It looks so much nicer, so much neater, and just so wonderful. For the eyes, sorry, I'm kind of like jumping around, but for the eyes, I decided to do like a little C kind of thing, I guess, and that really just shows like a brighter character, someone who's like more happy, someone who maybe is enthusiastic all the time, something like that. I learned this from, I think, Applemint, if I'm sure, I don't know. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. Anyway, so I did that, and then for the iris, which is like the circle that everyone has in their eye, I used the oval tool and then just made it smaller for the farther eye and whatnot. So there's that. Sorry, I'm sick. But for the nose, in an anime style, there's 2 or 3 types of noses. So the first is a really small dot. The second is basically like the same thing, just a little bit longer. And you can add like a little tip at the end if you want to make it look like a triangle without the one side. Like a scaling triangle without the one side. Or you can do a nose that kind of looks like a real nose, but it's like not. I don't really know how to describe it. It's like a circle kind of, but it's not. I don't know. I'll have to find some pictures and show you guys later on. But I don't know what we're going to talk about next, so let's start talking about coloring. So in my previous videos, which I'm probably going to be deleting soon, and then starting my channel over, just to let you guys know, I have some, like, I just like, did one color thing at a time, but I feel like it's so much easier now to just find all the colors at once, and then be able to shade them, and, like, add changes to them, make changes, once you know what the color is, instead of having to decide and having like a long random pause. So I do that. Let's see, we're gonna start with the shorts. So if you look back into the video, you would see that I kind of, like, they looked like really dark and weird and stuff. That's because I did a clipping layer. I think it's something that a lot of like drawing apps and softwares use, and it's basically where it won't color outside of the thing. It will just kind of hide everything, but if you turn off the clipping, it will show like where you went off the lines or where you colored outside of the line kind of thing. But there is a denim texture or like fabric kind of deal in IBS Paint, which I used to add a little bit more texture to the jean shorts, whatever. If you look at the bottom of the shorts, I do those kind of lines to like make it look like rips, but I forgot to shade those, and I really don't want to have to edit this video anymore. I know, I'm a terrible person. I'm so lazy. And so for the shirt, I just wanted to do a plain white shirt. I thought it looked really plain, so I decided to add a heart. I liked one side of the heart better than the other when I tried to do it, so I just, duplicated the layer and rotated it, and then used the lasso tool to move it onto the other one to make it look like a heart, and then I surrounded it with other hearts. This is a lot. For the skin, I like to shade any area that looks like it might need shading, like under the bangs, under the chin, under the like shirt or the elbow, under like anywhere really that would need shading, as well as like places like the shirt. If you look, it's like behind the armpit, or like, I don't know how to describe this, but like just like under anywhere that might need shading, like the hair, you will see like a lighter gray kind of shade. For the nose, I decided to add a little bit of light color and dark color, which is very hard to see from far away, but I promise you it's there. And then I added some blush. For the mouth, I just did red and pink and blurred it all together because I thought that would look okay, and it kind of did. For the hair, what I'd like to do is, again, this is when lunar eclipses kind of shading technique comes up. I do the normal color, and then I use a darker color on one of the sides, which is the side that the light isn't showing on, which would be basically the shadow. Like, you know, a shadow. It's dark. Like my soul. Oh god, that got depressing. And then for the lighter part, you get a slightly lighter shade, and then you just do it on the opposite side, but you leave the normal, like base color for the hair. So for the tips, if you look at the bangs, they do look a bit more peachy, and that's normal. I decided to do something that a lot of artists do. They get like a more peachy color or like a tan or like a brown color depending on the skin tone of the person, and then they add it and they blur it in to make it look like more see-through, I guess. I don't know, but I think it looks really cool. And then for those little highlights that you can see in the hair, I decided to do like a random scribble. I was looking at so many tutorials because I really hate shading hair because I feel like I do such a bad job. I just went in and like scribbled through, and then I outlined it with a lighter color and I made it look more sharp, and then I just outlined the lighter color with a more dark color, and that was basically it. For the eyes, I just used a eye tutorial, and you just do like a gradient and a few highlights here and there, a pupil, and you're good. And then for finally the eyelashes, this is something that I've done in a few of my arts, but I don't really do it that much. I just thought it would look really good with this. I decided to I'm so sick right now, I'm sorry. Highlight it and then blur it out and change the opacity. Sorry about that. That cut out there, but I was trying to say opacity. I decided to just cut that out and change the opacity, and then boom, you're done. So finally what I was doing right then, just a few seconds ago, is I was using the selection area, or layer, to select something, aka the whole character, because it will select all the layers, and then I just erased the colors from there, from the person. I'm making no sense right now, but I went into the layer, and then I erased all the I went into the background layer, and then I erased the color off of the person, because that's what it does, and then I duplicated the silhouette of the person. I was still in the layer, I made a new layer, I used the purple color, and then I already duplicated it. I colored in the silhouette of the person, and then I moved it, and after I moved that, I just kind of colored it, and once I colored it, I changed the background, and then there you go. I did go through a few different things, but there's that. I don't have that much time. So, love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.